A warning before we begin. This is not a story about a toy. It's not an urban legend. And it's not something exaggerated by the internet. In 1999, Hong Kong police made a discovery so disturbing that it would become one of the city's most infamous criminal cases. Inside a small apartment, they found evidence of weeks of torture, cruelty, and abuse. And hidden inside a Hello Kitty doll were human remains. This is the true story behind what became known as the Hello Kitty murder and the woman at the center of it, Fan Man-yee. Fan Man-yee was 23 years old. She worked as a nightclub hostess in Hong Kong, a job that often came with unstable income, risky environments, and little protection. By most accounts, Fan lived a difficult life. She was financially vulnerable and surrounded by people who exploited that vulnerability. She wasn't a criminal mastermind. She wasn't a gang member. She was a young woman trying to survive, and that made her an easy target. In early 1999, Fan borrowed money from a small-time gangster named Chan Man Lok, also known as Brother Lok. The amount wasn't massive, around 20,000 Hong Kong dollar. But instead of pressuring her to repay it, or reporting her, Chan and his associates chose something far worse. They decided to punish her. What started as a debt turned into captivity. In March 1999, Fan was abducted from her home and taken to a flat on Granville Road in Tsim Sha Tsui, an area known for nightlife and crime. Inside that apartment, Fan was held against her will. She was abused repeatedly. Drugs were used heavily by the suspects. Other people came and went. The main individuals involved were Chan Man Lok, Lung Wai Lun, and Lung Xing Cho. Also present was a 13-year-old girl, Lau Ming Fong, who would later become the key witness in the case. Fan was kept there for over a month. Neighbors later reported strange smells and noises, but at the time, no one intervened. Sometime in April 1999, Fan Man-yee died inside the apartment. But here's one of the most unsettling parts of this case. The exact cause of her death was never fully determined. Due to decomposition and the condition of her remains, forensic experts couldn't pinpoint whether she died from injury, neglect, overdose, or a combination of abuse. And that uncertainty would later affect the trial. The crime didn't come to light because someone reported a missing person. It came to light because of something far stranger. Lau Ming Fong, the teenage girl, went to police claiming she was being haunted by the ghost of Fan Man-yee. She said the spirit appeared to her, demanding justice. Police didn't believe the paranormal explanation, but they did believe something terrible had happened. That tip led investigators straight to the Granville Road apartment. Inside the apartment, police found evidence confirming severe abuse had taken place. And then came the detail that shocked the world. Part of Fan Man-yee's skull had been hidden inside a Hello Kitty doll. That single discovery became the headline, and the case was forever labeled the Hello Kitty murder. Many later criticized the media for focusing more on the toy than the victim, but the damage was done. The men responsible for Fan Man-yee's suffering were not strangers to crime. Chan Man Lok, known as Brother Lok, was a small-time gangster with a history of violence and drug abuse. He was the ringleader, the one who controlled the apartment, enforced the punishment, and orchestrated the abuse. Leung Wai Lun and Leung Xing Cho were associates who actively participated. Testimony revealed that the apartment became a place where cruelty escalated, fueled by drugs, alcohol, and group psychology. None of the men showed remorse during the abuse. In court, the judge would later describe their actions as acts of shocking cruelty rarely seen. Also present was Lau Ming Fong, a 13-year-old girl. She was not charged due to her age and cooperation, but her testimony became crucial in reconstructing what happened inside the flat. The trial began in 2000 and immediately drew massive public attention across Hong Kong. Prosecutors attempted to charge the defendants with murder, but the case faced a devastating obstacle. Due to the condition of Fan Man-yee's remains, forensic experts could not establish a definitive cause of death. There were no clear fatal injuries, no precise timeline, and no medical certainty as to what ultimately killed her. Because of this, the jury was legally unable to convict for murder. Instead, all three men were found guilty of manslaughter. The judge, however, made it clear that this was not a lesser crime in moral terms. In sentencing, he stated, "The depravity of the defendant's actions is difficult to comprehend. This court has rarely seen such cruelty." When the verdict was finally delivered, the court handed down its decision. Chan Man Lok, life imprisonment, Leung Wai Lun, life imprisonment, Leung Shing Cho, life imprisonment. All three were given life sentences, with the possibility of parole only after serving a minimum number of years. Lau Mingfang received immunity in exchange for her testimony and was placed under protection. Public reaction to the verdict was divided. Many believed the life sentences were justified. Others felt the inability to secure murder convictions exposed a flaw in how extreme abuse cases are prosecuted. There was also criticism of how the case was remembered. Media, headlines focused on the Hello Kitty doll, while Fan Man-yee herself slowly faded from public memory. To this day, advocates argue that sensational naming stripped the victim of her identity. More than 2 decades later, this case still haunts Hong Kong and the internet. Not just because of how disturbing it was, but because it exposed deeper issues. How vulnerable women can be exploited, how drug abuse fuels extreme violence, how group cruelty escalates when no one intervenes, and how easily victims can be reduced to headlines. Fan Man-yee became known for a toy, not her life, and that's something many still struggle with. The Hello Kitty murder isn't just a shocking true crime case. It's a reminder of what happens when humanity disappears and cruelty goes unchecked. Because behind every infamous case, there is a real person who deserved protection, dignity, and justice. And her name was Fan Man-yee. If this story disturbed you, it should. And if you want more true crime deep dives told with facts and respect, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments.